Here at The Line, the Albuquerque Police Department has been under court-mandated reforms for a few years now due to investigations in its pattern of excessive force. And now Santa Fe Police Department is under scrutiny as well. The family of a man suffering from schizophrenia is suing the city after he was fatally shot by Santa Fe police this summer. They say the city failed to properly train its police force in how to interact with people with mental illness. And Harry, law enforcement leaders and others are now, it's moving. They're advocating for more training of officers. De-escalation techniques, but this situation in Santa Fe, not to get hung up on this, you had 4 uniformed folks who were in the business of de-escalation. You had people from Presbyterian Health Services that were on the scene, and still 17 shots were fired. It's a very difficult situation. I appreciate where we're trying to go with this, but this was mandated some years ago for our police to be. We're not really getting there, are we?
We're not really getting there, and part of it is that the training only gets so far. If you've got a culture in which you're really focusing on controlling a situation and not understanding that there may be a mental health issue, it's going to be the culture that wins out over the training. I mean, we see that all the time. And this is a big issue because we rank dead last in access to mental health care services, and we're talking about Santa Fe. I mean, I can only imagine the issues in the more rural parts of the state. So it's not that the training in and of itself, isn't enough because it's really got to deal with the cultural issues in police work, and clearly there's a problem.
That's a good point. The state police head Pete, I forget his last name, Caceres, is that his last name? Whatever it is. He mentioned that very thing, getting that warrior culture pulled out of the state police force. A little tight on time, Diane. Your thoughts on this? Obviously, the Boyd situation woke us up to what's going on here. Is this fair for police to be able to have to manage? I mean, they're predicting half the people shot in this country by police may in fact be mentally ill at this point. So
I think the biggest problem, though, is the fact, and we were talking, Doc was just talking about controlling the situation, is you don't necessarily, the first approach is not from these people who are trained. It's a SWAT team, maybe. And so they haven't spent as much time. It's not the Presbyterian people there or the people who are trained in de-escalating a situation, and they are trained to be warriors. That is the culture that they live in.
That's right.
So I agree we have to change the culture some, but we have to figure out how do we get the trained people to the SWAT team.
That's right.
Fast enough.
That's right. And Laura, Harry mentioned actually the 2011 state law that this has to happen. Now it's 40 hours of training, but the hang-up seems to be, and again, our state police, Honcho mentioned this as well in the interview in the paper, that every 2 years there's a refresher, and that's not nearly enough. It seems to me. What do you think of that? I mean, 40 hours, and then every 2 years you go back for a couple hours worth of training. It just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as an attorney, I have a requirement of a certain number of hours per year that I have to do on continuing legal education.
That's right.
CPAs have an annual requirement. There's several professions out there that have to do an annual requirement. So I think it makes sense that, not to say that police officers I know have to do an annual, training of various things, but this should be part of it as well. I mean, I think this is becoming more frequent.
That's right.
I think especially in New Mexico, where we have such a lack of adequate health care in general, but also specifically we've had so many issues with the behavioral health system here. It just makes sense for our police force to be well trained to be able to identify those.
Exactly, on a continuing basis. Maybe every 2 years, Dan. 2 hours every 2 years is not going to get it done. It just
but Gene, it's back to I don't want to be the devil's advocate, but you and I have this argument all the time about the spending thing. You're right. It's 2 hours here. It's 2 hours there. Pretty soon, these guys are in training 38 hours a week, and we're asking them to go be cops 2 hours a week, and I think it's a problem. But I think at the end of the day, the reality is we do have this problem with mental health in this state. It's a problem nationally. I do have concerns when you read the article and they dispatched all these people. They knew what they were dealing with, and yet SWAT still went forward.
That's right.
I hope, obviously our sympathies go out to the Benavides family. I mean, it has to be unbelievably difficult to raise a child like this, and then to have it end like that has got to just be devastating for the parents and the family. And I would imagine that most of this, if not all the police officers that are involved in this, I would hope, and I think they're good people, that they've got to be thinking right now, I can't believe we did this.
That's right.
This is a shame.
And one of the officers, 16 times he's shot.
Yeah, it's just now the one thing thing I didn't get to the bottom of, and I'll ask you guys, and I know we don't have time, but was the injured person still in with? I mean, was this actually because they thought they were fearing they had to get?
I don't think they were, but I'm not 100% on that because it wasn't quite clear in the article. Anybody have a sense of that? I was wondering the same myself. My guess is they weren't. They would have taken a different approach if that healthcare worker who was previously stabbed by Mr. Benavides.
So that's the thing I don't understand. If they lock themselves in, or if they're sitting on the side of a hill,
right.
I don't understand why the philosophy isn't just step back and.
Thank you.
Eventually they're going to get hungry. Eventually someone's going to come help. I mean, it's different if they're holding a knife to someone's throat and you've got to save somebody's life. But we seem to in New Mexico to have an unbelievable ability, to escalate a situation that the right answer would be sit back, relax, take a few minutes. They should have let these counselors come and handle it. And if it took 3 days, it took 3 days. And we wouldn't have someone who's dead today.
That's right. Good point. We'll have to end it on that note. Thank you all, though. Great Friday night.